Hey guys, welcome back to another week of distance learning. I'm just going to move my little face over here so you can actually see the content. All right, so I'm going to try to keep this one short and sweet. This week, you are going to be developing your ability to carry out this I can statement. It says, I can explain how an author uses reasons and evidence to support particular points in a text. Okay, so you're going to be analyzing and explaining how an author uses different reasons and evidence to support the points that they're trying to make or the points they're trying to teach you. So, the main terms you need to know. Author's main points. What idea is the author trying to get across? So that's why I put a little light bulb there. You're trying to figure out what is the author trying to get me to understand. Those are the author's main points. And then you also need to know that reasons and evidence are the reasons why the author thinks that their idea is true. So, why does the author think that the idea, the main point idea, is true? So, they'll tell you what they think, and then they're going to tell you why they think it. That's their reasons and evidence. As a writer, you also do this. So, when you're writing, you give an idea, and then you state the reasons why you think that. Authors have done the same thing. This is just how informational texts work. So, I thought of how to kind of explain this and to give you how can I give you a visual to understand this, and I thought about a house with pillars or a building with pillars. So, if you look at this graphic right here, you see that there is a roof, and these pillars hold up the roof. If it were not for those pillars, the roof would collapse. It would not be able to be held up. So when you're thinking of the author's main points and the reasons and evidence that support those points, think of it like this. The author's main point is the roof, and then what holds the author's main points up, what supports the points, are the reasons and evidence. The reasons and evidence, those are the pillars. So I want to show you an example before I let you go on to your assignment for this week. I want to show you an example with the text, searching for Nessie. Now, we have used this once before this year, but it was a while back before Christmas. So I just want to kind of refresh your memory on it. I'm going to not read the whole thing because it is pretty lengthy and I don't want to take up your time. But I'm going to read the last section, chasing a hoax. So I'm going to zoom in right here. Oh, nope, that didn't work. Let's see. Move my little face over here. Go. Here we go. So I'm going to read this last part, chasing a hoax. After a man named Christopher, before I keep going, let me just refresh your brain. Nessie is the Loch Ness Monster, which is a monster that they thought lived in a lake in Scotland, and people still believe that this monster lives in the lake in Scotland. Now, this last part is kind of talking about how it might be a hoax or it might be fake. A hoax is just something that's made up. So the heading here is chasing a hoax. And the text says, after a man named Christopher Sperling died in 1993, a startling truth was publicly revealed. Dr. Wilson's famous picture of Nessie was a hoax. Sperling had built a model of Nessie and attached it to a toy submarine. And then Wetherell, who was Sperling's stepfather, took a picture of the model. Wetherell was upset because the hippo footprints had fooled him, so he wanted to play his own trick. Now, earlier in the text, it talks about a footprint that they found that they thought might be Nessie's footprint, but it turned out to be a hippo footprint. So the stepfather was upset that the hippo footprints had fooled him to make him think that there was this Loch Ness monster. So that's why he wanted to play this trick. Knowing people were more likely to believe a doctor, Wetherell had asked his friend Dr. Wilson to say that he took the picture. Dr. Wilson was a jokester, so he agreed. However, the men did not expect the picture to get worldwide attention. Afterward, they were afraid to confess their trick. Today, scientists say there's little chance that a large sea creature lives in Loch Ness. Nothing physical, like bones, has ever been found. Furthermore, they've learned that the cold lake does not have enough fish to feed a large sea creature. Instead, scientists expect the public may be seeing large fish, eels, boats, waves, or logs. Despite this reasoning, some people still hunt for proof of the Loch Ness Monster. Recently, skipper George Edwards photographed an unexplainable dark hump disappearing into the water. Could it be Nessie? And that's just kind of the conclusion, that part about George Edwards in the photograph. The part I want to focus on is this chasing a hoax part before the concluding paragraph right there. So I want to show you how this idea and then these reasons and evidence can kind of look like, I can show you with the visual how these reasons and evidence hold up that idea that it might be a hoax. I'll go down to this slide. So it'll come up. There we go. I got to zoom out a bit. Zooming out and zooming out and zooming out. And that looks good. All right, so the idea of that paragraph was that the Loch Ness Monster might not be real. So I got that idea, number one, from this paragraph here, that the picture was fake, and by the heading there that says chasing a hoax ? So I knew that the idea of this end part was going to be that the Loch Ness Monster might not be real. Now, the things that the author uses to support this idea that the Loch Ness Monster might not be real were, number one, the picture of the monster was fake. Okay, there was a whole section describing how the picture was not real, which means the monster might not be real. Then here it says nothing physical like bones has ever been found, so they've never found the bones of the Loch Ness Monster. That's another reason why the Loch Ness Monster might not be real. And then the author also said that the lake does not have enough fish to feed the monster. So that's another reason why the Loch Ness Monster might not be real, because it couldn't even survive there. So I hope that you're able to see how these pillars, these evidence of the point, the reasons why the point is true, hold up the author's main point. The author can have several main points throughout a text. The topic of this text was searching for Nessie, or it was just talking about the Loch Ness Monster. And then there are several main points. And for each main point the author makes, the author, if he's a good author or she is a good author, will give reasons and evidence to support the points. And it's our job as readers to recognize what is the author trying to tell us and why does the author believe it's true. So let's take a quick look at your assignment for this week. See, there we go. So you're working with the text Atlanta's Olympic Journey, and I will zoom out because you will not see it this zoomed in. Let's see here. Just give me 1 second, just trying to get the zoom correct there so that you can see. There we go. This is good. So you're going to be reading a text about Atlanta's Olympic Journey. You've probably read this text before. We've used it for one or maybe two assignments since we've been doing digital learning. Now, what your job is going to be is you are going to choose one paragraph. This passage has 6 paragraphs, so you'll choose one of the 6, whichever one you like the best, or whichever one the main point and the reasons and evidence are most apparent to you. You think it would be easy to kind of dissect this. You choose that paragraph for your assignment, and then you are going to fill out this graphic organizer. Now, I figured out a way for you to be able to type into the graphic organizers without moving all of the other items around. So you're going to fill in everywhere that it says type here. So you'll put your name here, the date here, and then I've already typed in the title and the author for you. Now, you're going to, in the middle, you're going to write in paragraph, whatever paragraph number you chose. So say you chose 6, you would type 6 here. In paragraph 6, the author's main point was, and then you tell what the author's main point was. So if I were filling this out for the searching for Nessie about the Loch Ness Monster, I would say the author's in paragraph, let's say it was paragraph 8. In paragraph 8, the author's main point was the Loch Ness Monster might not be real. Now, in all the author's support, see, these are pointing to the author's support. Instead of this being like a building with pillars, it's more like here's the middle and here's all the things that the author said that goes with it. So the main point was the Loch Ness Monster might not be real. And then I could say the author stated that the picture of Nessie was a hoax. I could say the author stated that there were not enough fish in the lake to feed Nessie. And so that's how I would fill out this graphic organizer with the information that I showed you from my example. Now, if you have any questions about this, please do not hesitate to comment. Sorry for that jingling. That's my dog scratching his ear and his tags are jingling. Sorry. Okay. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to comment on the assignment, and myself or Miss Julie will get back with you with an answer, and we are happy to help, guys. We really want you guys to be successful with this, and remember, every opportunity that you take to learn something new during this time is just another way that you are growing yourself as a reader, okay? And that's all we want. The only way to become a better reader is to read, and also think about reading, and that's what you're doing with this activity. All right, guys, I can't wait till I get to see you again, and I hope you have an awesome, awesome week.